Hi guys, and welcome back to DC Legends. Yeah, so I did actually quit 2 months ago, and as you probably know, this game is shutting down permanently now. So the time of recording is the 1st of October. No, actually, it's 2nd of October now, actually. And it was shut down the 31st of October, permanently. And this is actually the last raid which will ever be played in DC Legends. So I decided to just showcase a little bit of the raid, how it worked. And as you might notice, they did some minor changes to the game, since it's actually the farewell packs. So you basically will get 500 fragments of each of these tunes. Now I did just log on a little while ago just to try it out, and for 300 gems you will actually get 500 of all these tunes. So now everybody can, and you actually get unlimited amounts of rebirth crystals as well. So you can actually take up, well, currently almost all the characters are now currently available. Spectra is not in the shop. Azrael is not in the shop, I think. But otherwise most of the characters are just up and running. So here you can get a bunch of different skins. Catgirl, farewell skin. Yeah, I didn't notice that before. Just farewell. Okay. So apparently they had lots of art prepared for this game. Of course, as so many other players, I had lots of hopes that they would. Well, I'd given up hope. That's why I quit. So I was hoping they would start fixing the game, and apparently, no. They have decided to shut down the game permanently. So this is what they're saying. Shut off on October 31st. There's no more in-game app purchases. And they also removed it from the store. So if you want to actually play it now, you have to get the APK package from somebody. Otherwise, you will not be able to. I think a lot of people was a bit upset. Permanently, personally, I think they should have done it a long time ago, since the amount of bugs, especially last half year, was just brutal. But it is what it is. So as you can see, I've been inside the game, tested out a little bit, and it's kind of silly. So if there's like any tunes I want to try, I can try them out now. So if I want to run a Darkseid Dizad combo just to try it out, I can do it. Of course, unfortunately, it takes quite a long time still to rebirth everything, so I doubt I will be doing that. But my plan was just to showcase the raid module, and as you notice, there is actually not that much time left of this final raid, because I don't really have that much time anymore. So I will just put him up to Rebirth 5. Of course, this is not a very good raid tool. Most of the characters I do already have were good raid tunes. Now I haven't forgotten everything in 2 months, so I did a little cheating. I actually didn't just go in to have a look, and yeah, we have 6 solo bosses and 1 alliance boss. Of course, I'm in an alliance with myself, so there's not really much to compete against. So this is basically, there's never been that many 5x characters you can choose from before. Obviously I picked what I think is the best combination for this boss. I did like 1 or 2 runs just to try it out, and yeah, the boss goes down really quickly. So mostly this video is just to showcase how insanely boring raid is. It's just you know. So since I'm playing in Europe, it usually starts on Thursdays. You could buy the raid packs, and then it increases a little bit difficulty on Friday, and then you have Saturday and Sunday, which is the again increase in difficulty. Saturday and Sunday being the highest levels. And if you really want to compete for the top honors in this game, both alliance and solo, it does require a lot of grinding. So that went pretty fast. Now I have not bought any raid energy. This is just leftovers from my previous raids. So I have quite a lot of raid energy for solo bosses, not so much for alliance, since I did try to help out my old alliance quite a lot. So let's see, this one is the Return to Backland rooms. And here you can see the reward screen. Of course, now I can get all of this for free in the shop, so it's not really, I think this one is also available. And yeah, looks like they removed some of the rewards which usually are there. There used to be rebirth tokens and cash. Yeah, so I took it away, since you actually have now free. You can have as much as you want. This is the alliance. Of course, the top winner will get 30,000 and 5 rebirth tokens, and it goes gradually quite down after that. But to get that top position, it's yeah, quite brutal. So let's see how it's going here. Yeah, 7.9. So they will around 8 most likely before the raid finishes. And looks like they're still going for it. And these sums are just insane. I mean, since people have unlimited energy with all this cash available, it's just about the time available from the people playing, and it's actually for a game that's being shut down. So yeah, of course we notice there is one alliance which is missing, the owls, but which used to be number 1 for every raid except one. And I think yeah, they got some inside information about their opponents, what they were doing, but using some cheats, so they decided not to pursue it anymore, which is very understandable. Like, it's a dead game. Yeah, my my alliance. Yeah, so I've done like a few months. So this is the kind of thing which kind of makes the raids interesting. Of course, the rewards on the solo, the milestones as you play. So when you know, if you were a casual player, of course these rewards were really nice and quite easily claimed, the first ones. But if you wanted to go to milestone 75, that actually required lots of grinding. And I mean, usually you would have to spend like at least 7 hours on a Saturday or Sunday just grinding your own solo bosses constantly. So we will do a few bosses just to see how it is. And usually I would always go for the milestone 50 to get the 3 rebirth tokens. I did actually, when I was in the Owls, always finished this milestone 70, not 75. And like I said, it did require a lot of time in a weekend. And of course, if you were walking around playing on 4G, 5G, it was you would notice usually a drop in your DPS, so it would be even slower. So it was really recommended, like, sit home playing on your Wi-Fi or have some access to some Wi-Fi. And in addition, you had to do alliance bosses, so yeah. But those 5 rebirth tokens would be very helpful when you were trying to gear up your characters and see how things are going. So, how do you spawn bosses? Very simple. Anything I use my energy for, challenges. And by the way, this lag is just apparently been plaguing this last raid quite a lot, most likely because there's so much free stuff being available, and the bugs, of course. So for instance, if I do one of these events, there's a chance I will get a boss spawn. So any of the challenges or anything which you spend like PvE energy on has a chance of generating a solo boss. And what you'll notice is when this finishes is since I haven't played much, even at the last day right before the end, I still have quite low level opponents, solo bosses, because I haven't played that many. So you actually have to play some matches to get them to scale up as well. So as it is now, I don't think I will find any legendary bosses. So now I just did one. Did we get any? Let me see. Nope. Yeah. Let's go out. Still have 8 minutes left, so we still have time to showcase. So I would usually always go normal, chapter 8, last note. And the reason for this one is it's not the most economic, but you would get level 3. There was a low to medium chance of getting the level 3 gear equipment for gearing up your tunes. So usually when I would do this in the raids, I would usually have enough, at least level 3 equipment for all the blue tunes, the new ones. So, and usually I would do one at a time to be conservative with energy. As you can see now, just on 2, got the boss, fight later. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3, okay, more, 4, that's another one. Let's see again, 1, here we have the lag again, and it's quite brutal. Of course, okay, only twice was it? Only once. Twice. fifth time. So usually when I didn't get a spawn within like 5 or 6 attempts, that would usually indicate for me that my boss list was actually full, because there is actually a limit of 20 bosses, and if you are in alliance with a lot of active players, you will get their shares quite a lot. Unfortunately, that means very often that they will fill out your boss list, which was one of these things we requested to have changed, so you'd have one. Let's see now. Okay, let's go. So you can spawn one more and be done. But you can do any note. I mean, you can do any. There's the equal chance regardless where you are. It's just this for me felt like the most. Oh, level 9, increasing gradually. So let me go back. And oh boy, it's laggy. It's super, mega super laggy. And you have, so now we have 15 of 20 bosses. So usually what would happen if I was in an active alliance is I would try to clear it as good as possible, rush over, try to spawn as many of my own bosses, which I would get the most benefit from, since I used to have a decent roster and would be able to take them down using 2 energy. Of course, now since we have I've artificially bloated my roster to RB5, except Spectra, which was and still is RB3, and the loading screen, and yeah, so, and that's the entire deal. That's all you do, entire raid. And as you can see, loading time takes longer than the fight itself. So the first day would usually never give you any bigger enemies than like level 7, 8, 9. The next day they would increase a little bit, and of course on the third day you'd usually get your level, was it 45 and up to 70 something. I just got another milestone. Now what you notice now is what I also would use. So this was one of the complaints we had, that there was only 6 presets. So usually for some bosses and some months which were like really tricky, where they had this like Scarecrow, the Halloween month, they would have this bosses with huge amount of debuffs, so you needed to use some kind of toon which either had no miss, Steppenwolf, who would give buffs to the entire team, chance ups to hits. And usually I would keep teams for each opponent alliance or solo boss to set up different types of teams for different colors. But since I'm now put up to RB5 from RB3, I just you don't have to do that, and it's much quicker. And of course I'm also using 5x, which I usually wouldn't do, because I would try to conserve my energy, make it last as long as possible. And rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's the name of this game. There would be some combinations which would be surprisingly efficient. Superwoman Lose Lane would ramp up really nice. Of course, Raid had lots of bugs which were never solved from day one. And so my biggest problem, I mean, the nicest things about the raids, of course, was the rewards. You would get nice rewards from the milestones, and of course, since you were doing so much farming, the different normal missions, you would also get quite a lot of equipment and essence. But also, of course, I mean, you'd spend some gems but you also get some gems back, so usually it would go on plus. There's some lots of lag apparently. Looks like there's 12 minutes left. And this was also one of the current the complaints about raids for the past year at least, that usually by the end of the evening, the last 30 minutes used to become quite laggy for some strange reason. Either because everybody was trying to get the last boost of ranks, both in solo and alliance, and for me very often the last 20 minutes used to be quite unplayable. And of course, since I am playing in Europe, it's actually quite late here. It's now 1:48 AM, and you'll see another milestone. So let's check the milestones quickly. Usually there used to be some you would get some options for heroes, some gems, of course, which would be quite helpful. And this time it's not so nice fragments. Yeah. So let's see, Alliance boss position 1688. So how long should this take with the last 10 minutes remaining? Well, I've done this a few times, so it's nice to try it for the last time. Of course, it's also nice to try it with tunes bloated up to RB5, where I used to be an RB3 player. Of course, it does make some change, and most modes of this game there would be tunes which would be very helpful in PvP, some would be very helpful in PvE events, and of course you had tunes which would just be awesome against raid. And every raid day, the first one is usually low HP, it's more about just conserving your energy the first day and trying to use as little energy as possible, and just at the same time as little time as possible, so you can do as many boss fights as possible. So 54 seconds was it? Let's see how much positions it jumped. 1529, so it jumped to 100 position approximately. And that's what 30 people would be doing on the Alliance boss. When we used to play, you'd usually keep at least 2 to 3 people going heavy the first and second day, and then full steam on the third day. And of course, if you would be getting to your target goals, you would either slow down or of course, if you were in a lower ranked alliance, they would usually try to ask people to just do a certain amount of hits, or just like, come on, hit it again. And as you can see, I'm not missing this piece. The biggest challenge in raids is finding the teams to defeat your opponents. The most efficient, meaning the one which does the most damage in the least amount of time, and also using the least amount of energy. So you can conserve your energy, save up energy for the next raid, and get as much as possible with as little as possible, And now I'm spending a little bit more time than. So we got like 150 position last time. Now we were down to position 1500 something. And it's really laggy. You also get some nice rewards doing the boss, especially if you get MVP. and also usually get from your friends, but since I'm alone. And as you can see, the alliance boss also scales with the number of bosses I take down. So he's gaining some more HP. So usually level 7 boss I would do with 1x energy, using 1 or 2 toons. And Atro would be a very common used toon because he would be heavy burst damage from the get-go. And this and the one thing I forgot to mention was so all the raids would have a different theme, from Trinity, of course the Scarecrow, which was the most dreaded ones. Once a year you would face a Scarecrow, usually a Scarecrow boss and 2 minions most likely, which would put your team full of to hit debuffs, so you would have less chance to hit them, and you would be drenched in debuffs very quickly, and usually end up not doing damage to the boss and just timing out with very little damage. Then you would have summons, which had bosses which could take a lot of damage. And then there was other months where they would be very nice to use scalable toons, like ramping toons like Lewis, Superwoman, Spectra, which just gets stronger and stronger for each offensive attack, since they gain more of their attack attribute every time they attack. And if it was a Superman Prime raid, you couldn't bring any debuffers yourself because they wouldn't stick to the boss. They would just peel off every round, so there was no point to bring them along. Like Question would be completely pointless, and then that would be more classified like raid, which was very high endurance style. We have about 5 minutes left of the final raid of DC Legends. Now, with the availability of all this, free cash, free rebirth tokens, tons of shards, and tons of lag, as you can see. And there were so many bugs in raid, like, woohoo, I just found one. Restart the client. Now Doomsday on the left apparently was a good substitute ramping tool. Not as perfect as the others, since he was rather old and could really benefit from rework, which he never got. So right now you can get whatever you want. Most of the tunes are there. Super Speed Force is probably one of the things I never need to buy, since I always had quite a lot. And let's see, currencies. Yeah, there we have the rebirth tokens. Now, as you can see, I've bought some just to try it out. There was some tunes I always wanted to try. Of course, you can get 25,000 gems, which used to be quite expensive before, and now I get it for the sum of 10 gems. So, it's a bit different, to be honest. have enough. So let's go back to raid. We can probably do 2 more bosses. So let's hit. Let's see if. Let's just see if it works. We just use inspector, which just ramps up at 5x. So now the alliance boss became harder than at the beginning of the video, since I actually did a few attacks on him. So the last boss round before he probably evolved, I did 1 minute. Oops, auto was not on because I had to restart. Now keep in note that he is actually 3x RB3, since there's not really any current packs with him. And as you can see, he's just ramping up, and his damage just increases exponentially. But of course, my main team would be significantly better. But I just want to showcase the damage he's doing. And now he's doing 4 million. Yeah, so you see he's ramping up continuously, which always made him to a great character for the raids. 5.4, so it's just gradually going up more and more. And what I think we're seeing now is actually not the boss timer going up, it's actually the raid itself timing it. So I'm not sure, can we manage? Maybe 9.7. It's just crazy. Yeah, so we managed before. And voila, raid done. And new background. Wow, blue beetle. So as you can see, and end of raid. And you can see from the top, event is ended. And if I go now to info, I'll do the lockup completely. So if I go up to the top, yeah, leaderboard, top alliances. So you got, they didn't manage it. Quite close, but it's quite brutal numbers. Of course, with them having access to RB5 for all 30 members and unlimited dungeon, it's not quite as impressive, but of course, same time we also have people very demotivated to play now. And my old alliance, the Crooked Villains and Titans. And here I have another bug from the raids. When you scroll down the list, it usually resets and goes back up. There's no way to lock it. So I got actually in the position 1301 on the alliance. Woohoo! Not bad. So let me see here. I got solo leaderboard. 4,000. 4,000, not bad. So, if I'm not wrong, you had to, in solo, you had to usually get up to rank 500 to get the skin, which most people wanted, and very often rank 500 is usually when you got around milestone, how was it, around 60ish, depending on the rates. If you got around milestone 60, it usually was enough to secure your skin position. Of course, there was a few raids where they had actually up to position 1000, strangely enough. But I think I already have it, since they changed the game so much. And we missed out quite a lot of milestones. Of course, I need to show more of this Yeah, of course, sign-in rewards. So, I mean, you get 1000 rebirth tokens. Imagine getting that when it was, the game was still alive. 600, 300, 1,000,000, 200,000. Well, it needs at least does not take up a few turns. 3.5 million. Cool. More. Ooh, 7-day streak. What's that? Yeah. So now let's go see here. But the game feels very laggy. And of course, another thing we used to have to do right after the raid finished at 2 AM in Europe would be to rush over to Siege. And there is actually Siege. Wow. And of course, it would be important to open it up as quickly as possible, because usually you would get these default teams. Since I actually haven't played in a while, I have absolutely no idea who this is. And let me see here. I used to have this one and this one. And who is the... obviously we need to have Supergirl. Yeah. I think she got me skinned. There he is, and of course the placement is quite important. So I would like to have energy, alien, female, hero, and there she is. So I have absolutely no idea what he does. Yeah, just let's see what it's... it doesn't matter. Anyway, the Siege of the Sole Survivor. Sounds interesting. So usually you would, and the moment it finished, you would rush to try and start up Siege, so you get the default teams, which would usually be very easy to beat. So 1 match down, using only 1 bonus turn, which is kind of bad since they changed the bonus points. And I didn't think they would have actually the Siege for the last month, so that's kind of funny. I really should check what's the reward. That would be very funny as well. Okay, so the main damage dealer here is Atra and Supergirl. Yeah. So it's I'm actually not sad that they're shutting down the game. It's kind of a pity they decided just to close it down permanently and giving people access to everything. So it's nice that people can try everything. Of course, everybody's not messing up their accounts by making them all RB5 or whatever. All that effort you put in, and you just you can try whatever you want, which, depending on how you look on it, could be a nice thing. And I don't actually know what is. Yeah, level 37. Right. And 113 points. So the amount of cheating is kind of increased. So what do you get as reward? Naomi McDuffie. Okay. If you say so. Yeah. And usually I would place somewhere between rank 100 and 210, depending on the siege. Of course, it was a very interesting tune and people would spend a lot of cash, which I didn't do. Then I would be lucky if I got rank 350. So, there's no new packs, are there? Nope. Rebirth tokens. Ooh. So this one ends. See here. Tons of skins. And you have this one, which will give you the. Yeah. So of course people spend quite a lot of money on this. This was used to be the Siege tournament head start. You get Rebirth, and you would get more fragments of the tunes in the actual Siege. Of course, in my case I already have everything enough to take them up to RB5. I just need the time to actually press the button, since it does take a few times. Yeah, I think it was 10 of these packs. So it looks like they're putting like everything out for very cheap, so everybody can try anything they want. And of course that means also that the shop is actually bugging quite a lot, since everybody's buying like crazy these days. Well, the remaining players are. Let me see here. So this is, let me see, this is, I've never ever bought these ones. And Rebirth, okay. So these ones used to also be quite expensive with real money. And this was one of the few Rebirth tokens you could buy for cash. And there were plenty of players who were crazy enough to actually do it, which I always found a bit disturbing. But you know, their choice. So many skins. That's nice. So now everybody can try all different skins. And there is actually one character. And what I heard from some players was that it was kind of fun playing PvP right now, because they would actually face their old they go into the PvP arena and they find lots of trial teams, people just bring characters to try out. Of course, not being the strongest teams. Yes, I already have him. Yeah. So, that's it. I will see if I didn't really plan on making more videos. I just wanted to document the last raid, and since it looks like they're going to shut down permanently, not making it possible for anybody to play the game, I thought it was prudent just to showcase raids. So basically all it was just sent launch attack after attack after attack. Crazy doll. Only thing that kept me going was watching those milestones playing away. The skin I already have. Yes. And of course Terra, they never fixed her. So there you have it. Well, if you're stayed all the way to the end. Thank you so much. Okay, and I'll see you around. Cheers.